Okay, now we're going to be walking through an actual match, or be more accurate to say half a match. So as we've been talking about the various portions of an ethics bowl match, we've talked about the initial presentation, the commentary, the response to the commentary, and the judge Q&A. For those of you a little less familiar with the ethics bowl, all of those steps in a match constitute actually one half of a match. So the way the ethics bowl works is the team that's designated to go first will be given a case with the moderator's question. You'll proceed all the way through the judge Q&A. Then we'll get a new case with a new question directed at the other team, and the process repeats itself. This first video is going to be very short, but what I want to do is discuss something that's a little bit complicated and very important to think through in the virtual environment. So I'm going to do two things here. I'm going to look at the judge's score sheet, which is a fillable PDF, and I'm going to just take you through some of the nuances of filling this out and saving it so that it can be sent in after the match. The other thing I want to do is to just draw the attention of moderators to the video. So moderators, rather than sort of looking at each segment of the match one by one, looking for what we're going to score, what I'd like for you to do is just look at the match in its entirety, including the very beginning. So the very beginning, you're just going to hear the moderator guiding everyone through introductions, making clear which team is which. You'll hear the moderator at various points saying, now we'll take 2 minutes for conferral. The conferral period will start when you're all in the breakout room, etc. Now the video has been edited so that you don't see those 2-minute periods, but you should sort of be aware of how the moderator is leading the teams through the entire match so that this is something that you can make sure that you're doing. A best practice we're recommending to all the regions this year is that you have a tech person who can just handle the logistics of letting people in and out of break rooms, etc., and a moderator who's conducting normal moderator duties. But the person who moderates this round does all of those roles, so it is possible, but it's something that you do want to practice, and you can use that video as something to help you practice. One other note for moderators: when the judges have the teams introduce themselves, you'll notice that some of the students make clear not only their formal name, but the name they prefer to go by, and also in one case a student mentioned their preferred pronouns. It's a good habit as a moderator to proactively ask students to give their name, how they'd like others to call them, as well as their preferred pronouns. So now I want to show you how to fill out this judge's score sheet so that we can make sure that we're able to verify scores after the fact. So very, very important that you clearly indicate the round and you clearly indicate your name. And I'm going to type this in live as we go. Our practice match is between two University of Maryland, Baltimore County teams. Team 1 is going to be the current UMBC team, and Team 2 is UMBC alums. And you want to make sure that that's clear and that you have that right. Moderators make sure that judges have that right as well. Now we'll come back and we'll look at the rest of this score sheet as we go through the various parts of the match. But I want to show you now how you're going to save your score sheet at the end of the match so that you can email it to the person who is designated by your region as the person you should mail these to. So you want to go to the download arrow, however that appears on your computer. You're used to doing this for various files. You'll get the option to name your file. This is super important. You shouldn't leave the default name there, IEB fillable scoring sheet. Instead, you want to replace that. You want to replace that with round, the round number, your name, your last name, and an abbreviated version of the teams facing each other. That way it's very easy to figure out what judge, what round, what quote-unquote room. So in this case, it's UMBC versus UMBC. And so that is how I would save that. And that way, then it's very easy to email and very easy for the moderator or the person who's running the show behind the scenes in your region to track all of these throughout the day. All right, thanks very much. We'll come back in the second video. We'll walk through the initial presentation. What I want you to do is go through the various pieces of the match and then come back at the end of each piece of the match. So the initial presentation is going to run till 14 minutes and 45 seconds. So go ahead and watch from the very beginning to 4 minutes and 45 seconds. And then when you're done with that, come on back and we'll watch video and we'll take a look at video 2 where we'll score the initial presentation. And so what we'll do is I'd like you to think about the scores you'd give that initial presentation in the 3 categories. I'll also give my scores and then we'll move on to the commentary. See you in a minute.